Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our meeting of March 11th. I will now officially call the meeting to order and the time is 1 p.m. And I know that Councillor Hodge has given her regrets for today. We also have Deputy Mayor Burt, who is online. To start with our land acknowledgement and a moment of silent reflection. I will now ask members to declare any pecuniary interest before council if they have any. Seeing no hands, we'll move on to the agenda. Approval of the agenda. May I get a motion to approve today's agenda as circulated or amended?
Last circulated.
As circulated, Councillor Ward, second by Councillor Walsh. And all in favor? Motion's carried. Approval of the minutes. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the special meeting minutes from February 21st, the regular meeting minutes from February 25th, and the special meeting minutes of March 5th as presented or and Councillor Walsh is presented and Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? Motion's carried. Any business arising from the events? Deputy Mayor Burt.
Thank you. I just wanted to mainly let Councillor Warren know Pat and I reached out to the warden about the flag raising. And unfortunately, she's in Eastern Ontario for some tariff talks that day. She would much rather be in Norwood for the flag raising, but she won't be able to make it. So just wanted to let you know.
Any other business arising from the minutes? Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Do we have somebody to approve as circulated? Councillor Moore?
Yes, with comment
With
on R1 and R2.
R1 and R2. Councillor Walsh?
With comment on R1, please.
Mover? Deputy Mayor Burt?
And a comment on C3, please.
You did move?
Yes.
And you did second, yes, okay. We'll start off with you, Deputy Mayor Burt. C3?
Yeah, just thank you through you, Mayor. The C3 Township of North Kawartha Challenge, the 100 Women Peterborough Challenge, after the event Thursday night, there is a group within our township that will be getting together, and I think instead of joining that challenge, it sounds like there may be our own chapter. So I'll keep you informed of that. There seemed to be quite a bit of interest in it. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Thank you. Moving along to R1. Melanie's 2024 review, very good. And Deputy Mayor Burt.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull that and recognize it. That looks great, Melanie. I don't really have any questions in it, but I really wanted to pull that to recognize it because it looks fantastic and it's I think it's very good to have the public see that. And even for counselors, I think we forget going back a year, everything that gets done and kind of the highlights. So I just wanted to pull that and thank you. And I think Councillor War had some comments too. So thank you.
I don't think I could put through you there. I don't think I could say it any better than that.
She
So,
said it.
that. I think it was a busy and challenging year, and it's nice to see how much was accomplished.
Councillor Wall.
Yeah, I'm just actual the same comments and we think some departments that were obviously very heavily involved in it. But yeah, when you look back, there was a lot of accomplishments in 2024, so it's nice to kind of recognize those. So thanks, Mel.
Moving along, yes, thank you again. Moving along to R2, Councillor Ward.
Yes, thank you through you. Just looking ahead at the March 25th meeting, there is a report coming through about rural fire department advocacy support. I was just a little bit confused because my understanding was it was a letter to be sent out to AMO and Roma on behalf of the local fire department with maybe some like a top 3 suggestions from our fire chief. Maybe I'm confused, but I was just wondering if I could ask the clerk, Melanie, what that is, and maybe there's some confusion in what was talked about.
Through you, Mayor,
Yes.
through the Councillor Ward. Yes, I do recall the conversation and staff did meet internally and perhaps there was maybe a misapproach to the request, but we can certainly write a letter in lieu of a report to the AMO rep and our zone 5 rep at Roma. That's the fire chief and I can work on that. That's no problem.
Well, I guess some input from fellow councillors and
Yeah,
mayor.
Same thing. I know when we went through the fire department budget, how can we replace bunker here? I mean, I understand that, but in our case, when it's not used as much as a city department, that there just needs to be some understanding of that because that bunker gear costs a lot of money. And we're replacing it a lot faster than what it's really being used. So I think it's just important to bring that to their attention and not that it may change anything, but it's worth at least bringing it to attention and maybe it could get looked at.
And sorry,
Go ahead.
for you, Mayor, and also it was about the certification of the vehicles. That was the extra
Yes.
$6,000 to $8,000 or whatever the cost was. And like, if you look at the fire department budget, that would be a full percentage of the fire department budget, would it not? Like, so, it really does affect rural. So it just, I was thinking AMO, Roma, the fire chiefs, I'm not sure, like you guys would know better than us, but just a simple letter that, let's bring this to the forefront of people's, what they need to look at. So. Thank you.
Very good. Would you like to comment on that, Chief?
I'm just in agreement with council here.
Okay.
Downloading is just, it's regular buying. And it's not stopping, it's getting worse.
All
I
right,
have no consideration for what the results are to be in the future.
very good. So that's all the questions on the consent agenda. Is everybody in favor? The motion like it's passed. Councillor Walsh and Wilkerson, yes. And Deputy Mayor Burke, very good. Delegations, presentations. We have no delegations today, so we'll move right along to staff reports. Fire Chief Darrell Payne, R3, please.
Very new year, Mayor. In 2014, you took 2 reports to council about the sandbag policy. And because that year we experienced extraordinary amount of flooding and we received multiple 911 calls. Some people think that emergency was if my land starts to get wet, we have the fire department come in and sandbag it. So our report was that we would be able to provide that service, but at a cost. And so we designated what an emergency was, what a non-emergency is. Like emergency, we would do it through our operational budget. Let's say it's a water tower or the mill pond dam blew, that would be an emergency. But if you're giving 2 or 3 weeks notice by credible agencies, it's not an emergency. It's up to the property owner to look after their own property. So this policy will protect the township with unwanted costs and Public Works and Fire have informed these opportunities. The The monetary part is just for the deterrent, so people will not be calling 911. So, we're proposed, and after we're done this, because of this year and all the snow we've had, and we're expecting to have flooding again. Staff went through our policy procedures, and we did not have a policy enacted by council at that time.
Okay.
So what we're asking today is for council to recognize that policy and to pass it.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. I'll state the recommended motion. That the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report for information, and further the council approves the sandbag policy as presented. I have a mover. Deputy Mayor Byrd.
With the comment,
Go ahead with your comment, Deputy Mayor Byrd.
thank you. Thank you for the report, Daryl. So in the report, you have the numbers from 2014, $50 per man, $200 with the operator, and so on and so forth. So though, from my understanding from the report, those charges were put out for in 2014. It's now 11 years later, and I realize they're there more for a deterrent than anything. But if this happens, is that enough for cost recovery? Because I'm just wondering if those numbers should be put up from the 2024. So I just wanted to start a conversation there. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I had a conversation with a public works manager and said, yes, they would cover today's cost. But if council wishes to, we just have to change our fees by law, and we can add every guy's wish to raise it to.
All right, you did, the public works said that money would
With
go.
cost.
Okay. Councillor Walsh, you had a,
Yeah, just for you, so. They're on that situation that it's considered non-emergency and we provide. The bags. That risk will get billed, so is that what?
No, the township provides bags and the sand, but they have to come and get it.
Okay,
And if they deliver the sand, then we'll be charged.
okay. Okay,
We restock pile bags. We have pile bags from 2014 still in stock. We don't have to purchase anything right now. They're all in storage up at Public Works.
okay, and then, sorry, secondary question again, was all on the same lines as Deputy Mayor Berg, it's just not on the rates. I know they're from 2014. Are we, I know they're there only as a deterrent, but do we feel they're fair? And it sounds like you feel they're fair.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you, through you, just to follow through on a few things. So with the bylaw fees that we have. So next year, if we feel that, maybe they didn't cover, we'll put that again in the bylaw, right, for the fees for the administration. So I feel comfortable with that. The other thing with the substantial snowpack, which I don't think we've had in, as you said, since 2014. Has there been any communication with Orca or any of the ones municipalities further to the north of, when and what would the outlook would be for potential flooding? Do we have any?
Most municipalities are planning for flooding
Okay,
because Orcas don't give enough flooding
Warnings.
notifications almost weekly now or daily.
Yeah.
So look at their preparedness for it.
okay, perfect. And we're sharing, sorry,
Go ahead.
just follow up that, and we are sharing those flooding warnings with on our social media posts. Okay. That's it, thank you.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Moving along to R4, active manager of water and wastewater operations. Adam, you have the floor.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Today, bring the report regarding water financial plan. For information, further that council authorizes PSD citywide to complete the financial plan. As part of the Ontario Safe Drinking Water Act, every drinking water system needs a water financial plan, and our current plan is set to expire in 2026. Township staff contacted 3 consultants for proposals and pricing. PSD citywide came in at 29,500. Watson and Associates for 35,220. Hanson Consulting was at 27,500. Each proposal included an optional council presentation. So to reduce costs, staff decided to exclude the council presentations and do that part ourselves. So after removing the council presentations from the proposals citywide came in most cost effective at $24,000. 30,000 has already been budgeted in the water department for this for the 2025 budget. And staff further recommend selecting PSD citywide to complete the water financial plan, given their competitive pricing and ongoing project with the township. They're in a good position to share information efficiently and necessary. And they also have the shortest turnaround time of completing it in 4 months.
Very good, Al. I'll read the recommended motion, council, that the township of Asphodel-Norwood accepts this report for information, and further that the council authorizes PSD citywide to prepare the township's next iteration of the water financial plan. I have a mover, Deputy Mayor Burt, seconder,
Comment.
Councillor Walsh. Discussion. Go ahead with your comment, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Burt.
Thank you through you, Mayor. Thank you for the report, Adam. As I went through this, I have to be honest with you. We've seen a lot of water reports and I didn't know that we had a approved financial plan for 10 years, and I see it's coming due next year. And I see in the background, as part of the licensing requirements, it is required through Justin O'Connor's part 2 of the Walkerton inquiry. So it's obviously something that I was thinking maybe it didn't have to be done, but obviously it does have to be done as part of the licensing. Excuse me. And I guess what I was wondering when I looked at the previous report, the numbers that you had, I'm just wondering, is there any way we can get a comparison, even for the last 3 years, how accurate the proposed numbers or the study numbers were to the actuals? I didn't know if that had been done. Again, it's one of these things where we are required by law to do consulting, and it costs us tens of thousands of dollars for small municipalities when we could be putting that tens of thousands of dollars into our water system. So I find it really frustrating. So I'd really I guess that question is more for I guess Adam and Jordan, if we could even get some numbers from the study for the last 3 or 4 years to see what the actual numbers are. I'm not really sure that obviously this is something that we have to do, but that's my comment. So thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Yes, thank you through you. And just to follow up on what Deputy Mayor Burt was saying, so is this so the new study or whatever for the, it's going to be for 10 years? Is that what they're going to estimate? Because the costing has changed so much. I don't even know how relevant it would be to have a plan that goes out 10 years for, to pay for that.
Yes, through Mayor, it will be for 6 years. 6 years is the minimum you can do for 6
Okay.
years.
And I guess that was just a follow-up from Deputy Mayor Burt's, because, those costing numbers that are coming in, they're just so different, even from, 2019 to 2026 from the previous one. I just wonder how relevant it will be to do this financial plan. I see that it is mandated, but it's a bitter pill to swallow when it's another fee.
Yes. Any further comments? All in favor of the motions? Motion is carried. Moving along for correspondence for action. With regards to US tariffs and Canadian goods from Peterborough County, what's council's wishes with respect to C8 Peterborough County and the US tariffs and Canadian goods? Deputy Mayor Burt.
Support.
Motion to support, seconder, Councillor Walsh. Any further discussion? Pretty well know it. All in favor? Motion is carried. C9. Response to tariff support Canadian businesses and consumers. Township of Archipelago. Did I pronounce that correct? Sure. Response to tariff threats.
I would put receive support as well, as they say on the same subject.
Same subject it is.
Second that.
Okay, and all in favor? Motion is carried. Norwood District Public School monetary donation request. C10.
I would. Until we have a budget passed, my recommendation to the group is we would defer this, and bring it back at the point. After our final budget is passed, so we can have an idea of what that budget looks like and then how we can kind of potentially go about distributing them.
Okay, and you'll second that motion?
I will
With
just,
comment?
yeah, and just further to that, the county does have a program with digesters and composters, and maybe they should also look into that revenue too, because that's just another way of doing recycling with the food cyclers. Okay.
Any further comments? All in favor of the motion? That motion is carried. On to C11, Regional Municipality of Durham, protecting Canada's values, ban the Nazi swastika in Canada.
Receiving support.
Receive it and support. Councilor Ward, seconder, Deputy Mayor Burt, any comments? Pretty straightforward too. All in favor? Motion is carried. C11. Or sorry, that was C11. C12, Township of Coleman, Northern Highway Safety Plan.
I've received support. I know it doesn't impact us directly down here, but having traveled that highway in the last little while, it needs to be full lane. Just a very busy highway, 11 and 17 on the visit of the avenues out west, so they need to be in good shape.
Seconder, Deputy Mayor Burt, any further comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. C13, Special Events Committee resignation. Doreen Allen Bow, Councilor Walsh.
I've received with regret. She's been a long time committee member on a number of different committees in town, and greatly appreciate all the volunteer hours that Doreen has put into our township, and unfortunately, she's obviously feels she's spreading a bit thin, so I do appreciate all the work that she's done.
Yes. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Burt,
Yes, with the comment.
go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly agree with Councillor Walsh. And I assume we do this, but I just want to ensure that we send her a thank you card for all her years of committee work. So thank you.
Yes, we do that.
And actually, sorry, I'll follow up if I can. In
Go
this
ahead.
case, will we go back out looking to add one more committee member to bring that committee back up to us? Because that's one committee that we really do need a few people on it to make it a go, and make it work. This, they don't have a lot of events, but events they have, they do need people. So whether it goes back to that committee, they decide that based on their work plan, they're comfortable with what they have left, or they feel that we should go back out. So maybe it goes back to the committee.
Goes back to the committee.
See what they wish to do.
Okay. So a motion was made to accept. All in favor? Motion's carried. City of Sarnia, carbon tax.
I think that we receive this because there's going to be a government change, and I think that I think all parties have, looked at carbon tax, and I think we've received this one and see where the next federal election takes us.
All right. Motion to receive, seconder. Councilor Walsh. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Council liaison reports. Does anybody have anything they would like to bring forward? Councilor Walsh.
Yeah, just to bring the rest of council up to date, we had a business advisory committee meeting last night. First thing on the agenda was Norwood Market, which is going to happen this summer on the long weekends. We've had a good response to date. Say we're up over 10 vendors that have came forward that would like to participate. So the committee kind of decided that within 2 weeks, we would get a smaller subcommittee and they would go through all the vendors and select who was coming. And the only reason for potentially selecting is we don't want to have 3 of the same type of vendor selling the same goods. So that'll be decided in a couple of weeks. Appreciation from the committee on the fitness center fee reduction. That was well received. We did discuss the business map. So the business map that had kind of been put together last year through some work with the county and GIS. And where it's in now, they're sitting in big maps, and they went to a printer, and the printer recommendation was to put it into an 8-page booklet. And to print 250 of those is gonna cost about $800. So the group kind of decided last night that instead of maybe going to print, so we could go to print, but the thought was when we do the community guide in 2 years, maybe you could attach it to the community guide as a map. Alternative to that is, could we look at doing things through social, digital QR codes to utilize it now? The challenge with going to print is, as we looked through it last night, there's already, unfortunately, 2 or 3 businesses that are no longer there, and that will always evolve and happen. So when you go to print, you always run that risk that the day you print, it's good that day, and after that, it's not. So definitely some ideas on how we can use it, which is awesome. Business breakfast for the business community is coming up on April 15th here at the Millennium Room. We've got a group called Career Edge coming in, and there'll be some discussions around some employment strategies for people. And we also reviewed looking at new businesses and ribbon cutting, and we put, going to kind of everybody get their thinking caps on and decide between now and the next meeting. Make sure we have the list, that we haven't missed anybody, and then we're going to reach out to each of them, because we have already reached out to a couple that would like to wait until they're done their full remodel. For example, the Ultramar coming into town, they're going to be adding another food service in there, and he would prefer to wait until that is done. So that will be looked at. And then I also just shared with them that agricultural wellness Ontario materials that will utilize at the community market.
Anybody, Deputy Member?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. This is just from the county meeting last week, just a few updates. The proposed revisions to the new quote unquote 2-year-old county official plan with the red line changes was reviewed, and those are online if you want to take a look. There's a on the website, there's a page or section dedicated to that. You can take a look at that. So those are coming together, and hopefully sooner rather than later that will go off to the ministry. Lang Pioneer Museum have had a service delivery review, and there's some exciting structure changes there. So I think the recommendations will be coming back to council in a staff report, but I think from a financial perspective, things need to change, and I think the direction they're going, it will be a benefit all around. So that's the next thing, something to keep an eye on. Patricia Bromfield, Chief of Paramedics, did a staff report on the new medical priority dispatch system, and you've likely seen that online. And it will be coming in place, I believe, this month. I forget the date. And just hopefully to prioritize paramedics going out to those who need it most. So there'll be some changes. There'll probably be a few tweaks to make, but I think that will really assist our first responders. And I think I have one more, and the manager of waste management and sustainability did another report on the non-eligible sources. So basically what we're doing, still nothing's been decided, but they're going out with a non-binding RFP to really get the true pricing on that and some options. It's very divided in what to do, and honestly, it's one of those ones, nothing will be right. We're between a rock and a hard place, and it'll be interesting to see where that lands. So that's ongoing, but a decision does have to be made soon. So we'll certainly see more of that in the coming weeks. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we carry on, I'll get a motion to suspend our regular meeting, and the time is 1:29 to enter into a public meeting to consider a rezoning bylaw amendment application. I have a mover, Councillor Wall, Councillor Wall, all in favor? Motion is carried. Welcome, everybody. The time is 1:30. Still 1:29:58. And council has entered into a public meeting Consider rezoning bylaw amendment number ZBLA-04, section of 2024. Does anybody have any pecuniary interest to declare at this time? Seeing no hands. May I get a motion to approve today's public meeting agenda as circulated? Councillor Wolf
Yes, circulated.
as circulated and Councillor Walsh. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, and I'll now hand the floor over to Ed Whitmore, our Chief Building Official, Planning Coordinator.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Okay, this is only bylaw amendment application ZBLA 04/2024. Is applicable to the lands described as 2187 County Road 45. Concession 9 and part lot 15. In the township of Asphodel-Norwood. Purpose of the zoning bylaws to satisfy a condition of consent. From Peterborough County Land Division, file number B-59-24. The effect of the zoning bylaw amendment will protect farmland, comply with the official plan and the provincial policy statement. The township requires the retained land to be rezoned to rural. Exception 16, that's an RU-16 zone to prohibit residential uses. And recognize the reduced lot area of 15 hectares. It's about 37 acres plus or minus. And recognize the reduced lot frontage of 46 meters to it's about 151 feet. The severed lands are to be rezoned to rural residential exception 16. It's an RR-16 zone. And that'll allow a hobby farm. And it'll end up being close to 5 acres in size. The application for consent B-59-24. It was submitted to County of Peterborough Land Division by Jamie Robinson, MHBC, on behalf of Mr. Crowley. And council may remember, we recommended approval of the consent application on August 27th of 2024. Last summer, this came before us. County Land Division approved the consent application on October 28th of 2024, subject to several different conditions. And our conditions was to rezone the severed and the retained parcels to the satisfaction of the township. The consent application was presented to both the county council and township council. They proposed the severed be a total of 1.36 hectares, which is about 3.36 acres. And then we received a notification January 27th of this year, 2025. That the proponent was requesting the severed portion be increased to just over 2 hectares to about 5 acres. And the township have no concerns with the increased sizing, and we would prefer that size actually compared to a smaller size. That way it'll allow a more diverse farm parcel of land compared to only having larger parcels. We need all different sizes of farm parcels. Attachments, the zoning bylaw amendment application is attached, and the notice of complete application, and it was a combined notice, and the notice of the public meeting. Relation to the strategic plan, we say it's achieving operational excellence. It's good for the township, it's good for the community as a whole, in my mind. For the engagement end of it, the combined notice of complete application and notice of public meeting was circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. To all the required agencies, it was posted. The notice, combined notice, was posted on the Township of Asphodel-Norwood website, and the Combined notice was also posted on the subject site itself. We've received some comments from agencies, Peterborough County Engineering and Construction. That's the roads department. They have no concerns. Enbridge Gas has no concerns. Fourth of Pine Ridge District School Board have identified no concerns, and Autonomy Region Conservation Authority, they have no concerns as well. So we've not received any phone calls or correspondence from any of the property owners that were circulated at the time of writing this report. And I still haven't received any to date regarding this zoning bylaw amendment. And our conclusion is if the zoning bylaw amendment is passed today, it'll be subject to a 20-day appeal period. And if no appeals are received by 4:30 on March 31st, the zoning bylaw amendment will be final and binding. And so there is the clauses that should be read regarding appeals, the right to appeal. If a specified person or public body does not make an oral submission at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood to the Ontario Land Tribunal. And if a specified person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to a hearing of an appeal before an Ontario Land Tribunal, unless in the opinion of the tribunal, there's reasonable grounds to do so. And anybody wishing to be notified of the decision for this application or any application, you must make a written request to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood at the address noted below, and quote appropriate file number. For this file number, it would be ZBLA-04-2024. And then there's the recommendation here, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Ed. I'll now ask for the meeting record. Are there any persons in attendance to speak in support or opposition of this application? Okay, seeing none, I'll read our recommended motion of council's consideration that the council of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood accepts this report for information, and further that the council directs staff to prepare a bylaw that will rezone a portion of the subject lands to rural exception 16 zone and rural residential exception 16 zone. Can I have a motion, Councillor Ward,
Yes, for the recorded vote, please.
for the recorded vote? Councillor Walsh. All right.
Yes.
Mayor Wilford,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burt,
Yes.
and Councillor Walsh.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I'll now ask for a motion.
Sorry, we're good. I'm good now. Thank you.
You're good now? I'll now ask for a motion to adjourn our public meeting, and the time is 1:38. And for our regular meeting of council to resume. Moved by Councillor Walsh and second by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? Motion is carried. And back to liaison reports, Councillor Warren.
Yes, thank you, through the mayor. Just one notice about the March 18th at the Norwood Town Hall for Peter Robinson kickoff. In the morning at 9 a.m. is the flag raising. And I'm pleased to announce that Katie Begg with her 3 daughters will be part of the flag raising ceremony, and they are, I believe, 7th generation Peter Robinson settlers in our township. So yeah, the girls. And so at nighttime, we have the 7 p.m. historical talk. So it's all free. Our events are open to everyone, and please attend if you can.
And that's at the town hall, correct?
Both are at the town hall, the flag raising at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then 7 PM at night at the town hall.
Okay, thank you. Moving along, does anybody have any general business they'd like to bring forward or discuss? Councilor Ward.
Thank you through you. I just wanted to see if there was any appetite around the table about sending a letter to the transportation, the Federal Transportation Department regarding the proposed new high-speed rail. Because that will be directly coming through Asphodel-Norwood Township, and it may be a few years away. And, you know, we've had these announcements before, but it will directly impact where that rail is coming through our township. It'd be nice to have more detailed, which rail line they may be taking, or if they're going to build a new one, because we know the one does go through Village of Norwood. There is another one that goes south. It would just like, it'd be nice to see more detailed information.
All right. Are you making that a motion?
I would like to make that a motion if anyone has any other discussion with that.
I'll second that. Yeah,
Councillor Walsh?
it would just be nice to know more details in regard to it. It's exciting from the standpoint that could be another mode of transportation for people in and out of the community, so
Not our community. From what I've heard,
no.
no, I don't think there's going to be a stop here.
No.
No.
Just what we've heard from before, I'm not even 100% sure if it stops in Peterborough. From what I heard, but
I think it does stop in Peterborough.
it does,
Yeah,
But yeah,
because I've heard
that would be
discussions
much good
both
to know.
ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's why I like your motion, we'll find out exactly.
let's find out some information. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Burt.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's worth getting more information. I do think the stop will just be in Peterborough, and I think Havelock's rather disappointed, but it would be nice to see where it is going. When you click on that map, you can't zoom in, and it would just be really nice to know where that line is going to be. Whether all of us around this table will still be alive to see it, I don't know, but time will tell. But I think it is worth sending the letter. I would support that.
So everyone is in favor of that motion then? Okay. Any further general business, Councilor Ward?
I just have one more mention that Hospice Norwood is having their toonie auction here on March 22nd. I don't know if they, you know, what room they have left, but I guess it's a pretty fun event, and it's great to be able to support Norwood Hospice.
All right. Anything else? Deputy Mayor Burt?
Yeah, I just happened to think, and I can't see whether Chief Payne is still in the room, but I do know the fire department is having a St. Patty's Day dance Saturday evening. So just put that out there for a reminder as well. Thank you.
Would you like to comment on it?
Associations are ready to go.
All right.
Nations are done,
Very good.
they're ready to go.
Councilor Walsh?
Just more of a question. Do we have any sense of when we will see the next draft of the budget?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, I don't believe a date's been set yet. I suspect when our CAO returns, maybe some emails will go at that point about availability, but that's my assumption anyway.
Okay. Moving along, we have no closed session today, no notice of motions. We'll move on to the bylaws.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. That the bylaw to amend bylaw number 2009-8 as amended, being a bylaw to regulate the use of land and the use and erection of buildings and structures within the township of Asphodel-Norwood, be read a first, second, and third time and numbered to 2025-15.
Councilor Walsh. Councilor Ward. All in favor? Motion's carried.
And our confirming bylaw. That the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood held March 11, 2025, be read a first, second, and third time and numbered 2025-16.
Deputy Mayor Burt. Councilor Ward. All in favor? Motion is carried. Council, you see your future meeting schedule. It's there. We will be discussing later on in the summertime, I think. I'll mention it now, moving these meetings from the Millennium Room, just council's thought on it. Not now, but think about it, moving it back into the top of the town hall because we've had a couple of meetings there. The owls work perfectly in there. We were told before they don't, but now they do, so that's good. Council future, or may I get a motion to adjourn, please? Deputy, or Councillor Ward. And Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? Motion to adjourn. And the time is 1:45.